Salutations, boys and girls and kiddos of all ages. Well, today's video is going to be a lot different from the other ones because, yeah, you know what? How about I just go into giant mode and just show you exactly what I'm talking about. Whoop, whoop. Well, of course, we was continuing with the Marvel Legends Nemesis Build-A-Figure wave, and as usual, and when I say continuing, I forgot that I can put the links into the previous videos in the description below, so I will start doing that. However, here's what's happening. As usual, I was letting you know that we're continuing here, showing you the line of the boxes and all the figures that I did not want, like Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Gambit, and Cyclops, because I have versions of those characters. But the ones that I did want, like Fabian Cortez, HUSK, who I reviewed, and the new Marrow that I haven't reviewed yet. So just like this Cyclops I didn't want, I did all the whole magical poofs and all of that and took things out of the box and stuff like that, and even showed you people that like boxes, all the stuff, you know, front, side, back, and all that. However, then I got a ring at my doorbell, which made me stop the camera, and this happened. Whoop, whoop. Well, my neighbor was in a bit of an emergency, and he had to leave his puppy Hush Dream with me. All right, so, and right now he's a bit nervous because he's in a new area, so I'm trying to get him used to everything. However, if you can hear Mr. Big Mouth back there, when I'll get to him in a minute, because I also have my miniature poodle Marley. All right, and oh, excuse my hand. All right, and Mr. Big Mouth himself, Zeus. And if anybody that remember the first time I got Zeus, yes, he's just a little bit bigger now. Okay, Zeus, go sit, back, good boy. Place, good boy. Down, there you go, good boy. Yes, so that's how long I had Zeus, y'all. And the lighting effect is giving them that glowing eye thing going on. So I tried to stop it. Let me see if I can take it off. Okay, I can't take the glow. There it is, the glowing eye effect thing. All right, but anyway, so yes, okay, so whoop, whoop. All right, so yeah, so basically all I'm saying is that if you, during this video, if you just happen to hear Zeus bark, or Marley bark, the poodle, or our new guest Dream, that would be the reason why. That would be the reason why there are dogs barking. And that's also the reason why I had to promptly stop the first video, and I'm stuck here doing, you know, our showcasing of our next action figure Marrow like this. Whoop, whoop. Already currently in her cold pose, already currently on the rotating rotator, and already currently, you know, magical poofed out of the package, which I guess in that regards, I can just go ahead and just show you the package that she came in. I think it's kind of boring when you do it this way, or pointless, but yeah, for people that like packages and the words on the packages, and I guess that's upside down. Oops. Oh, sorry. the barcodes and stuff on packages. There you go. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and talk more about Marrow here. So we can go ahead and bring in the monitor at this point. But one good thing came out of all of this craziness is that, as you can see, I was actually able to get some pretty good clips of, you know, of Marrow, aka Sarah. And I know I sound country, but I'm sorry, guys. But aka Sarah Rushman, who also went by, I think Black Widow went by that name at one point in time. But along with her physical characteristics and everything that you probably knew or did not know about it, but always understand. And, you know, I guess when I show y'all this right here, it's because, mainly it's because of the height. And Marrow is listed as being 5'8". All right. But that comes later when I measure them up. But anywho, I was also able to, you know, get some clips of her, I guess, other personal information and living status and stuff like that. Cause I guess if we cover that part of it, she actually did die at one point, but she got brought back to life. But I think I'm gonna cover that part. But anyway, but starting from the jump in 1994, in issue 15 of Cable, creators Jeff Loeb and David Brewer, Marrow's life first started off as one of the underground dwelling, you know, mutants called the Morlocks. I don't know if they were low-level mutants or whatever, but anyway, there was a whole subgroup of, you know, mutants that was living underground called the Morlocks. And at this time, the Morlocks was being led by a mutant by the name of Callisto, who kidnapped the X-Man mutant known as Angel because she wanted him to be her husband. And that was it. Anyway, young Sarah, because she was a little girl at this time, but young Sarah, you know, thought the Angel was very beautiful and angelic, of course, and thought, you know, went to him for, or looked up to him as like a kind of like a religious god, you know, entity or something like that. Then along came a group called the Marauders, who I guess came down to massacre all the Morlocks, which they actually succeeded in doing, except they missed one. And that one was young little Sarah there at the time, that was saved by a man known as Remy LeBeau. And no, he was not a X-Man at the time. But anywho, yeah, at this time, he was down there hanging out with Morlocks or passing through, whatever. Saw young Sarah in need, so sorry guys, I had a fur baby emergency. But where were we? Yeah, the puppies. But where were we? Oh yeah. Little baby Sarah was rescued from the Marauders massacre by the mutant named Gambit, and no, Remy LeBeau was not an X-Man at this time. They didn't even know who he was, and couldn't remember if I said that or not because of my fur baby break. But anywho, But saved by Gambit. But doesn't matter because the years later, the surviving Morlocks, and even including young Sarah, don't, because we have no idea what Gambit took her to, what he did, what they were doing over the years or whatever. But who knows? It doesn't matter because all the surviving Morlocks, and yes, as I said before, even young Sarah, were apparently killed, but they wasn't really killed. They was just, I guess, sent to another dimension by a man by the name of Malachi Rasputin, who in this little dimension, he made some kind of little citadel where he was ruler of or whatever, but or part of it. But anyway, he believed in the theory of, only the, strong survive, or it's like life is always survival of the fittest or whatever. So he always held these little contests or whatever, or at this time held contests with the Morlocks, where he would challenge them to see whoever would finish doing this contest would go on to be a part of his elite group. Well, in this dimension, the old leader or current leader or whatever she was, still the leader of the Morlocks, Callisto, she actually took, a liking to young Sarah, and she basically took her up under her wing, making her technically her adopted daughter. So she cared for her a lot during this time or whatever, and she actually helped Sarah, advanced in this little competition. And that's when Sarah basically was amongst the other, I guess, fittest and top of the notch, special elite beings, whatever you want. Because I don't think they were all just mutants, and I don't think they were all just marauders. I mean, Morlocks. But anywho, well, Sarah, who was going by the name Marrow at this time, was one of the top finalists, and also ended up being the leader of this group called Gen Nation. But Gen Nation, or the groups, all the members didn't really last that long or whatever, because over the years they all didn't make it. I don't think they all eventually died, but either way it went, they ended up returning back to Earth, or the survivors of them returned back to Earth, and Marrow was one of the survivors because she was the leader, of course, but she was a survivor. She was the top, best of the best. That's why she made it. Anyway, they're back on Earth now. But while they was back on Earth, the remaining members of Gen Nation started a little, basically, terrorist group that basically started a campaign against surface dwellers, and they would often had conflicts with the X-Men and the new younger mutant group called Generation X. But after constant battles with them, Generation X, it was the X-Men who officially defeated Gen Nation, or the new Gen Nation, or whatever name they was going by at this point in time, who defeated them, Marrow and her surviving members of Gen Nation. And yeah, that was quick. Oh, and by the way, during this time, I don't know who were actual, eventually, or active members, card-carrying members of the X-Men at this point in time. So I just got the most, I guess, usual original, close to it roster that I could find, or whatever you want to call it. Well, during that battle, Marrow had a plan to where she strapped a bomb to her heart to basically challenge the mutant Oral Monroe, also known as Storm, who was actually once a leader of the underground dwelling group, the Marauders, that Marrow used to be a part of. But basically, Marrow was trying to get Storm to fight her to the death or to yield and surrender, which is what yield mean, I guess. Anyway, but that didn't work because, well, Storm quickly defeated Marrow and ripped out her heart. But it didn't kill Marrow because apparently Marrow has two hearts for whatever reason. But anyway, yeah. So Storm defeated Marrow in that little battle. Now, Marrow went back and started hanging with her adopted mother, Calypso. And although they were still, doing things that they were up to no good. Now, during this time, Calypso was trying to help Marrow and control her very, I guess, wild and savage nature and ways. They end up getting into a little altercation. Henry Grinch, or whatever, a government official, and a prime sentinel, where Callisto ended up getting injured really badly, and she sent Marrow out to seek help from the X-Men. And to there where Marrow teamed up with the X-Men, Bobby, also known as Iceman, and Dr. Cecilia Reyes, also known as Cell, who has one of the coolest mutant powers that I've seen in a long time. And she has, basically, she's has this giant, I guess, force field that covers her entire body, like about 6 inches away from her entire body. So I don't know why, but I just thought that's just one of the coolest powers I've seen or heard of or whatever at the time when it first came out. But anyway, that's how Marrow basically became a member of the X-Men, because after that, during that time, she joined the Xavier Institute of Gifted Humans. Or is that how you say it? I think that's the name of the school, the Xavier School of Gifted Mutants or people or whatever. She she joined X-Men, and she was basically tutored or mentored by Wolverine. But during one of the X-Men adventures or missions or whatever, they was in another dimension, and Gambit couldn't control his powers at one point, and he ended up injuring Marrow to a point where she ended up she didn't die, because Marrow ended up being hospitalized and taken care of on the planet of the Skrulls. And with their advanced technology and help and aid or whatever, Marrow ended up being able to have more control of her abilities. And with that also, it enhanced her beauty. So yeah, thanks to Skrull alien technology, Marrow was in control and she got a glow up. Well, after her disappearance from the X-Men, Sarah was later found with the group SHIELD, brainwashed. She was brainwashed and was running around as a sleeper agent for the group SHIELD. And as a agent of Shield, she was basically going around. Her mission was to destroy LMDs, which are called life model decoys. But during this time, Sarah had a split personality, basically with her memories, where she was, where Shield was basically forcing her to take these injections to control her. But she was later helped by Spider-Man to break free of Shield's mind control over her and help her escape from Shield by basically faking a suicide or something like that. But anywho, I want to stop there because I really went too far because it got good to me. And, I just wanted to talk about the time she was really with the X-Men. She eventually went back later, but that's, you know, it's basically a whole lot of story within that. So, yeah, I technically just wanted to stop to the point where she was technically an X-Man and at this point a good guy and so on and so forth. But yeah, so, and by the way, because of this picture here, yes, we do, Marvel Legends did make us that guy here. Let me see if I can't. I tried. All right, hold on. Yes, this guy is called Maggot, and we do have an action figure of Maggot. So basically, we just need a Cell action figure, so Dr. Rez, so we can finish or recreate this picture. Anywho, that's it. I gave you all that jibber jabber and didn't really tell you much about Marrow's power and her abilities or whatever. But I think it's kind of self-explanatory, so that's why I really didn't focus on it too much. But anyway, Marrow basically has the ability to grow and actually control the size and shape of her bones to the point where she can use them as weapons, like you see her bone blades there. And which used to kind of confuse me because I was like, I understand the bone growing part and all that and them sticking out of it, but how does she shape them into swords and weapons and stuff like that? Well, she actually has that ability to shape them into any form that she really wants to. And the bones are basically a lot stronger and, of course, a lot denser than natural human bones. Oh, would you stop it? And along with a extreme healing factor and oh god, okay, the puppies are being a lot more agitated, so let's close that. So she has a healing factor. Are you finished drinking the water? Okay, a healing factor and of course high agility or something like that. Okay, let's just go and close it out. Gotta tend to the fur babies. Well, Marrow is all right. Compared to, oh good lord, okay. There's a lot of noise going on. So anyway, representing the 1/18 scale size figure, we have Michelangelo from the Viacom Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle lines coming in at a whopping 4 inches tall, but representing the average 1/12 scale figure, we have Stan the Man, my main man Stan, the Hasbro's Marvel Legends Stan Lee action figure, who's average 6 inch, just tall. So representing the 1/10 scale action figure size, we have the McFarlane Toys Dark Knight Returns Batman, which is an average 6 inch, 1/10 scale size, which is 7 inches tall. All right, so that makes Marrow here whoop, a whopping, it kind of looks like a 6 1/4. So basically she's a little taller in action figure form than she is in actual comic book height size. So anyway, whoop, 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 whoop. And there you have it, kiddos. All right, and that's the end of this video. Thanks, Sarah. See you around. Whoop. And just like that, we closing out another video. So until the next time, and as my loving mother would tell me when I said I couldn't find anything to do, go somewhere and play. See you in the next video, guys. Bye.